Hey, what's happening, Sadhguru? I'm Sky. Ryan was my brother. I want to know about the transformation people go through when they come to your center, because I saw a huge change in him when he came back.
What is this all about? Is it a fact that in the evolutionary process of life upon this planet, you okay with evolution? Okay? Because I come from Tennessee, so I'm asking you. In the evolutionary process, is it true that we as human beings, we are on top of the pile of all the creatures? We are supposed to be the peak. Maybe there's something more to be done, but right now we are on the top. But is it also true that whenever human beings utter the word human, they're always talking in terms of, oh, I'm only human. The word human is always related to the limitations of being human. Very few people ever have used this word, I'm human, referring to the immensity of being human. Always the limitations of being human. So, somewhere we miss the fundamental point. The point is this: is it true that every other creature on this planet, a worm, an insect, a bird, an animal, with a millionth of our brain, they're conducting their life process quite well? Hello? Are they? When I say life process, we are born, they are born, just like that. We grow up, they grow up. We make a living, they make a living. We may reproduce, they reproduce. We do all this with enormous fuss. They simply do it. Yes or no? Every simple thing, we're doing it with enormous fuss. They're simply doing it. Different various processes of life and death, they're doing it without fuss. We are doing everything with great fuss. Is this a sign of highest level of intelligence, I'm asking? We are supposed to be the most intelligent, and there is no question that we have the most evolved neurological process on the planet, yes? We have the most evolved neurological system that we must be able to sense and feel and experience and perceive, understand and express things in the highest possible way. But no other creature on the planet is struggling like the human creature right now. This is simply because you have been given a super computer. Do you agree with me that this is the most sophisticated gadget on the planet? Not the iPhone, the eye. But now the question is, have you read the user's manual? That's all. People have not read the user's manual for the most complex machine on the planet and somehow blundering through, somehow trying to use it. Everything is a problem. Tell me one thing that human beings are not suffering. If they're poor, they suffer their poverty. You make them rich, they suffer the taxes. If they're not educated, they suffer that. Put them to school, lot of suffering. Not married, they suffer that. Get them married. I didn't say anything. I didn't say a thing, okay? No children, some people suffer that. Children, daily suffering. So you seem to be suffering every aspect of life. So if you offer death, will you go joyfully? No, you will suffer that. So tell me one thing that we are not suffering. Now people weave philosophies, life is suffering. No, life is not suffering, nor is it a joy. It's simply there, it's a phenomena. If you ride it, it feels fantastic. If you're crushed by it, it feels terrible. So are you riding the wave of life or are you being crushed by it? That's all the question is. So, for this to happen, what is it that human beings are suffering? I'm sorry, what's your name? Huh? Sky? Good. Oh, you're a big guy. You're a big guy. Sky. When was the last time somebody poked you with a dagger? Even though you're living in Los Angeles. That is a long time ago. So I'm asking you, how much suffering for any individual is actually coming from outside? Minuscule, isn't it? The rest is all on self-help. If they sit, they will suffer, if they stand, they will suffer, if something happens, they suffer, if nothing happens, they suffer. So what they're suffering is their own psychological process. One's own thought and emotion has become such a huge suffering. How you think and feel. How you think and feel, should it not be determined by you? Hello? What happens within you? Should it not happen the way you want it? Can you see me, Sky? Where am I? Tell me, use one hand and point out where I am. Ah, you got it wrong. You know I'm a mystic, huh? Now, this light is falling upon me, reflecting, going through your lenses, inverted image in the retina, you know the whole story, right? Where do you see me right now? Within yourself. Where do you hear me right now? Within yourself. Where have you seen the whole world? Within yourself. Everything that ever happened to you, pain and pleasure happened within you, joy and misery happened within you, agony and ecstasy happened within you, even light and darkness is actually happening within you. What happens in the world may not happen the way you want it, but at least what happens within you must happen your way, isn't it? So if what happens within you is not happening your way, fundamentally, we have not figured what is the nature of our life. Without understanding even the fundamental of our existence, we are trying to live. Is it true, I'm asking you once again, is it true both pain and pleasure originates from within you? There may be a stimulus from outside, but all human experience comes from within you, isn't it? What's coming from within you must happen your way, otherwise you're just an out-of-control situation. So, my entire work and the fundamental nature of what's offered is called inner engineering. That is, we have engineered the world in so many ways. This has brought us enormous levels of comfort and convenience. Do you agree with me that we are the most comfortable generation enjoying most incredible conveniences that no generation could ever dream of? Yes or no? What even royalty did not have 100 years ago, today ordinary citizens are enjoying it, isn't it? What is the chariot that you drive? How many horses, huh? Yeah. I'm saying even emperors could not do 400 horses, all right? So, all this is going waste on humanity simply because their experience of life is not enhanced. Because your well-being will never come from outside. From outside, you can create comfort, you can create convenience, but you cannot create well-being. Well-being can only happen from within you because human experience is created from within. Doesn't matter what is the nature of your experience, whatever it is unpleasant or pleasant, both are being made from within you. But if you are in charge of yourself, would you create pleasantness for yourself or unpleasantness for yourself? Highest level of pleasant. If there was a choice between misery and blissfulness, what would you choose for yourself? Please, you must make a choice, I'm going to bless you right now. Misery or blissfulness? Yeah, at least for yourself, it's definitely highest level of pleasantness. What you want for your neighbor may be debatable, depending upon what they did today. But what you want for yourself is 100% clear, isn't it? Why such a simple thing is not happening? Simply because this cerebral activity in the process of evolution, it is new. It is a new happening, this big brain. When I say new, just a few million years, but in the evolutionary scale it is new. So we have an intelligence for which we don't have a stable enough platform. You don't need anybody to torture you, isn't it? Hello? Yeah. You're in self-help. You don't need any outside help. You can sit in one place by yourself and make a hell out of it. Because your own intelligence is turned against you. You can call it by many exotic names. You can call it misery, you can call it depression, you can call it by variety of diagnosis. But essentially, your intelligence has turned against you. Once your intelligence turns against you, nobody, no power in the universe is going to save you. Because wherever we take you, you will be miserable. Some people are thinking one day they will go to heaven and they will be all right. I'm asking you, do you have any proof that you are not already in heaven and messing it up? Do you have any proof? No. Maybe you're already in heaven and making a mess out of it. Because if you have an out-of-control mind, no matter where you're taken, you will make a mess out of it, isn't it? Just imagine 100 years ago, how people lived in this same place and how you're living. Is there any damn thing to complain about in comparison? Hello? No. Oh, but we are whining like crazy, huh? We are whining like nobody else on the planet. So the problem is not of the outside. Outside situations are there. Some situations will go the way we want, some will not go. That's how it is. Even if you're just two people in the family, does everything happen just the way you want it? No, that can never happen. Outside will never happen 100% the way you want it. We can manage it to some extent. But at least what happens within you must happen the way you want it. If right now what happened within you was happening the way you wanted, would you keep yourself at the highest level of pleasantness or no? That's all that happened to him. Even though death confronted, it didn't matter because what's happening within you is happening the way you want it. No magic, just engineering.
I read your book, it was amazing, and what caught my eye and what I was amazed that early, when you were a child, you realized that you have those powers and you started really going deeper and meditating. Someone actually taught you how to meditate and go through that. What do you do with a child that, is that deep? And I do have a child like that. And sometimes I want to push her towards this is right, but I'm a huge believer in what you actually were taught.
We must understand this. A child is not an industrial product. A child is a life, a fresh life. You are supposed to nurture this life. It's not that you put it through some kind of a industrial process called a school. It's like an industry. Everybody's taught the same damn thing, everybody's supposed to go through the same thing and come out the same way and find a job and serve something somewhere. This is not what human life is about. There is an innate genius in every human being. Do we have the patience and the commitment and the dedication to pay the necessary attention to bring that out in a specific human being? That's a big question. Otherwise, you will produce dumplings, all the same, okay? So, once you have a child, before you have a child, you must understand, a child means a 20-year project, full on. That is if they do well. If they don't do well, it's a lifelong project. Because it's a life. One life may blossom at 12, another may blossom at 40. Do you have the patience to nurture that life? Or have you already set a thing, by the time you finish your high school, you must be in this university, that university, you must be doing this or that. It's all fixed up, common prescription for all life. This is what we're doing, this is supposed to be civilization. This is not civilization, this is just escape from life. We want to escape the fundamental process of life. In tribal societies and other traditional societies, even today, nobody expects a man or a woman has to become like this at a certain time. Depending on each life, how they progress, everybody is valued for who they are. If you plant this chrysanthemum in your house, in 3 months it's full of flower. If you plant an oak tree, 8 years, 10 years, nothing happens. So you want to chop it down? Hello? None of them would be. If you went by the standard, see this one, how well it is doing, in 3 months, how many flowers, you fool, you're doing nothing. This is not the way to handle life, isn't it? This is not an industrial product. So, I know there are other compulsions in the society, various limitations. Keeping all those in mind, fundamentally we must understand life needs nurture, atmosphere, not fixing. Nothing to be fixed about it. It just needs an atmosphere where it will flourish best. What grows in Southern California will not grow in Minnesota, isn't it? That kind of life needs that kind of atmosphere, that kind of nurture, only then it'll happen. So this is something that we have to pay attention to. There is no involvement. We want everything ready-made. We are looking at a ready-made solution. There's no ready-made solution to life. Life can only happen with enormous involvement. There is simply no other way to do it. Where there is no involvement, there is no experience of life, isn't it? Hello? Whether it's a simple food that you eat, or something that you look at, or whom you live with, or what you do, or at the highest level, whatever you do in your life, without involvement, there is no life. But right now, modern societies are trying to do life with information, not with involvement. This is a big mistake. You have no information about your child. You can go to all the variety of doctors and get all their ideas about what your child is. All they will tell you is that he's sick in 100 different ways. Okay? No, you don't need information about your child, you need involvement. With involvement, you will bring that life to its best. It need not be as good as somebody else or as bad as somebody else, because it's a unique life. Is there one life like another? It's a unique life. So, but from day one, we are comparing it to another life and trying to make it like that one. This is a very cruel process for the child. A child never understands what the hell the parents want. I never understood. Nobody ever explained to me why the hell I should go to the school. So I never went. Because nobody explained to me why I have to go to school. They said, no, you have to go to school. Why? I'm doing fine. Why should I go to school? No, because we think information is going to transform us. No, information facilitates a few things, but it's involvement which transforms us, isn't it? Absolute involvement in something, it doesn't matter what it is. Total involvement with something, suddenly you find that human being is of a different nature, isn't it? So, that's all it takes, involvement.
Every day she plays different the things that you say. What comes into your mind that makes you say she plays it? How does it come about?
It needs some background. It is a fact that we have the most evolved neurological system compared to a worm, insect, bird, animal, anybody. But we also have a psychological process. Whatever your psychological process, your thought and emotion, is only happening because of a certain amount of information that you gathered, isn't it? Oh, you think she's a wonderful person, so certain kind of thought. Oh, you think she's not nice, another kind of thought. Oh, you think this is somebody else. With all this information, whatever you have gathered, whether it's right or wrong, it doesn't matter. The type of information you've gathered determines the type of thought and type of emotion that you have, isn't it? This is one thing. If you teach human beings to understand your psychological process is entirely your drama. It's got nothing to do with reality, is it so? Your psychological drama has nothing to do with the reality here. 100 people can be sitting here and everybody in their own psychological space, and they're in 100 different worlds, they're not in this world. So, I have an empty head, nothing. So I'm in this world. So because I'm only in this world, I'm paying attention to everything. I have nothing going in my head. If I sit in one place, once in a way when I take a break, 4 or 5 days, if I close myself up, I don't have a single thought in my mind. I don't read, I don't watch television, I don't write, I don't do anything, I don't even look out of the window. Not a single thought on my mind. Because psychological process is just a small drama which has gotten magnified simply because you've gotten so identified with it. It's like this. People always come up to me and say, Sadhguru, I want to meditate, but the thoughts are coming. I ask them, see, I will teach you another kind of meditation where your kidney function will stop, your liver function will stop, your heart function will stop. Are you interested? No, no, no. Then what, you want your brain function to stop? Why? See, when you sit and meditate, your kidney is functioning, liver is functioning, heart is functioning, you have no issue. Only if your brain functions, you have a problem. Yes? Why is that? Because you are not so identified with your kidney function, but you're super identified with your thought process and emotion. Because you're so identified with it, you think it's you. Because of that, now it has obliterated your experience of life. Tell me in 24 hours' time, how many moments are there beyond thought you looked at something? For most people, there isn't a single moment. Some people have few moments. I have just a few moments of thought. Rest of the time, I'm just like the sky. Simply there, just life. If you're just… are you life? Tell me properly, are you really life? Yes, your life, isn't it? Because I am life, I have a body, I have a thought, I have an emotion, I have a home, I have this and so many things. All accessories. But you're experiencing the accessories. But is there experience of life on a daily basis? You're misunderstanding your psychological drama as life, isn't it? Your psychological drama is your drama, maybe badly directed, but see, when it's badly directed, people suffer it. When it's well directed, they enjoy it, isn't it? Hello? Yeah. So your psychological drama is yours, you can play it, nothing wrong with it. It's like we start playing a game, we are on a tennis court. But somewhere, you hit the ball, you enjoy it, you hit the ball, you enjoy it. After some time, you keep the racket down and go, isn't it? Right now with this game, you're not able to stop. Just imagine, suppose you started playing tennis and you can't stop 24 hours. How you would suffer tennis? That's all that's happening right now. Your psychological process has become unstoppable. It's simply on and on and on. So the simplest solution for this is, don't try to stop it because you're not trying to stop kidneys and livers and heart and whatever else that's happening, you're all fine with that. Only with brain function you have a problem because of the identification you have. You have misunderstood your thought to be you, isn't it? Whatever your thought is, you think it's you. But your thought is coming from a certain information that you gathered from outside, isn't it? If I wipe out all the memory in you, will you have a thought? No. It is only coming from the type of information you gathered. What type of information you gathered is not all by choice. If you walk in the street, everything that you see, hear, smell, taste and touch gets recorded in your mind, you can't help it. What goes into you as information is not all in your hands, isn't it so? 90% is not in your hands. Simply it's happening all the time because everything that you sense through 5 sense organs is just getting into you and recorded. There is no good, bad, ugly in this, it's just information. Now, by your recognition, you say, oh, this is nice and it becomes good. You say this is nasty and it becomes bad. You say this is horrible and then it becomes ugly. This is your doing, but information is simply pouring in and recorded. What you gather, whatever you gather, it can be yours, it cannot be you, isn't it? Hello? Yeah. I can say, this is my chair, but if I say this is me, you will think I've gone crazy, isn't it? Right now that's all that's happened. What you gather, you start thinking it is you. Let me go a little more basic. The body, this body, were you born like this? No. You came like this and now you became this much. How did this happen? Just the food that you've eaten, isn't it? Or it's just the earth that we're walking upon which became food and now it's like this. Countless number of people like you and me have walked on this planet. They were also smart people. Where are they now? They're all topsoil. So will this become? Yes or no? Unless your friends bury you real deep, fearing that you may rise from the dead. Otherwise, this will also become topsoil. Well, we don't want to go today, but inevitably we go, isn't it? So this is just the soil which turned into food, we consumed this food and made it into this body. Or is it true that this body is an accumulation over a period of time? Hello? It is. What you accumulate can be yours. Can it ever be you? Whatever you accumulate, at the most you can claim it is mine. I will not dispute that right now, a day will come. But you cannot say it's me, isn't it? Whatever you accumulate can never ever be you. If this becomes a living experience for you, that what you have accumulated in the form of food and in the form of information, you clearly know this is not me, then you will become like me. Simply looking at life as it is, without being influenced by anything, without being identified with anything. Simply life. Is that true? Fundamentally, you're just a life. Then you gathered a certain body, so we called you a man. Then you gathered some kind of stuff in you, so we called you this, that and everything. But essentially, are you just life? And is that the most important thing right now, that you're alive right now is the most important thing in your life, is that so? Hello? Yes. But unfortunately, that's not in focus. Today, what I'm thinking has become more important than me being alive, isn't it? Hello? Yes. My little emotion has become more important than that I'm alive right now. See, today morning sun came up on time. Hello? Yes? Now, you're thinking it's some… okay, what about it? You know, some time ago, we were flying a helicopter in Tennessee. It was a nice warm day. So we pulled off the doors and we were flying a open helicopter because weather's good. We went up there and suddenly hit a cold front. All that happened is sun got really blocked out by cloud, so it became extremely cold. So cold we had no control, our hands are not steady on the control, so we decided to come down. As we coming down, we just debating, suppose sun doesn't come up tomorrow, what will happen? Maybe in 3 months this will happen, 6 months that will happen, we just guessing. Then I just came and did a little bit of research. If sun does not come up tomorrow, in 18 hours, everything that you know as life on this planet will be gone. Except a few microbial life deep down in the earth, everything else will be gone in 18 hours' time. Just now I gave you a fantastic information. Sun came up on time today morning. I want to hear appropriate noises at least. It's fantastic, it came up on time. And planet is spinning on time. You don't think it's good? No accidents in the solar system, one planet did not clash into another, all are sticking to their lanes. In the entire universe, not a single accident, everything is going fantastic in the universe and in the larger cosmos. But one nasty little thought is crawling in your head and it's a bad day. Everything in the cosmos is going great. One nasty little thought, it's a bad day, isn't it? The problem is we have lost perspective as to who we are. In this cosmos, this solar system is a speck. Yes or no? It's like a speck. Tomorrow morning if the entire solar system evaporates, nobody will notice it. In that speck, planet Earth is a micro speck. In that micro speck, Los Angeles is a super micro speck. In that, you are a big man. That's a serious problem. This is your psychological drama. Exaggerating things to a point where you think if you have one bad thought, the whole world is ruined. Because we have gotten identified with the thoughts that we generate, with the emotions that we create, not understanding it's our prerogative to create the kind of thought we want, the kind of emotion we want. If you created the kind of thought you want and the kind of emotion you want, would you not do the best sort of thoughts and the best kind of emotion that a human being is capable of? Yes or no?
Yes.
Then you would function at the peak of humanity. Right now, our own intelligence has turned against us. We don't need any external help. We're just doing fine by ourselves. Yes or no? Simply sitting, standing, rich, poor, every kind is suffering. You ask them, childhood, big problem, diaper problem. Toddler, big problem, lot of mischief. Adolescence, oh my God, too many problems. Middle age, crisis. Old age, terrible. Tell me which time of your life is fantastic. The problem is not anywhere else. The problem is just that we have lost control over our psychological drama. Because the existential drama of life is not in our experience. Our psychological drama is like a cloud blocking up the sun. We don't experience life, we only experience thoughts, emotions, ideas, prejudices and all the rubbish that we can generate. Instead of living in the Creator's creation, we are living in our own petty creation, that's the big thing. I didn't create anything, so I am here in this world.
So, Sadhguru, what about when people say that we were created by God?
So obviously you did not create yourself, that's for sure. Our ideas of God may vary from culture to culture. Different people around the world have different ideas about it, different beliefs about it. But why we came to this idea is this. We all crawled out of our mother's wombs and you see a newborn child, how he's looking? He's asking, who, what the hell is all this? So much creation. Do you see question marks in his eyes? What? So much. Who did all this? Obviously first he looks at his mother. Well, the mother delivered you, but she can't deliver the planet. Then you look at your father, well, obviously he can't do all this. Then you looked at every other adult around you, nobody seems to be capable of doing all this. Then being human beings, we say, there is a big human being sitting up there. He does all this. I'm sorry ladies, he's a man. Because we are human, we are thinking a big human is up there. But it's a fact that we did not create this, isn't it? Neither this nor this. We did not create this, we meddled with it. We meddled with it, we muddled with it, but we did not create it, for sure. So we need an explanation. This is a choice you have. Do you need an explanation or are you willing to explore? If you explore, you will come to one kind of situation within yourself. If you come to agreement with some explanation that somebody gives you, the only choice is either to believe it or disbelieve it. If you believe it, you will become confident. It'll not bring any clarity, it'll bring you confidence. If you disbelieve it, you will be confused. If you're joyfully confused, it's very wonderful. But most people don't know how to handle their confusion joyfully. When they get confused, they make themselves miserable. But the most wonderful thing in human intelligence is to recognize what you do not know as you do not know. Everything that you do not know, you believe. This is a serious problem. We have done terrible things to each other simply because I believe this, you believe that. Continuing to do it even now, isn't it, across the world? Because I believe one thing and you believe something else. Now if I let you live, my belief will suffer. The best thing is you're dead. Yes because you believe something else is the truth and I believe something else is the truth, now both of us can't live in one place. We can pretend for some time. When it comes to real issues, we can't be in one place. Why is it it's so difficult? If you really have a working intelligence, you must be able to see what I do not know as I do not know, isn't it? Is it not very human and very wonderful to see what I do not know, what's the big deal about it? If you see I do not know is an immense possibility. Only when you see I do not know, the possibility of knowing becomes a reality. If you see I do not know, the longing to know, the seeking to know and the possibility of knowing becomes a living reality. Everything that you do not know, you believe. You have to be only among your kind. If you are with another kind of people, either they should not exist or you should not exist, that's all it'll lead to. So this is something that we have to come to, because human intelligence is at its best when it does not know. If I just think I know, I will become stupid because I have my conclusions about everything. If I see I do not know, intelligence is full on, isn't it? You want to keep your intelligence in a working mode or a off mode? You saving it for another place? No, I want to know because it looks like that. A lot of people are saving it for elsewhere. No, you need it here. If you need it here, please look at this and see. When you see I do not know, you become very conscious, very aware, very alert, is it true? When you think I know, you do the dumbest and idiotic things, very gross things, yes or no? Yes. If you really see I do not know, you have fight with nobody. You have no fight with anybody, isn't it? Yes. I know is always a fight. So in the yogic culture, there is a phenomena. I'm calling this a phenomena because today, this evening you may not understand what I'm saying, but if you invest some time and energy, you will understand. We identify with our ignorance, never with our knowledge. Because it doesn't matter how much you know, if you read the libraries on the planet, still what you know is the minuscule in this existence, isn't it? Hello? But your ignorance is boundless. Yes or no? So, if you're identified with your ignorance, you will be borderless, boundless human being. If you are identified with your knowledge, you will become a constipated human being. Constipated means it happens little by little. This is how life is happening right now. Little by little it is happening. It is not happening in a beautiful way. It is little by little. We have to strive to find one moment of joy somewhere. We have to do so many things to experience one moment of ecstasy. If you want to just live here, drenched with nameless ecstasies going on in every cell in your body, every moment of your life, then you must identify with your ignorance. You must come to terms with your ignorance. If you come to terms with your ignorance and pay enough attention, if you're ignorant, you naturally pay attention, isn't it? If you pay enough attention, you will see with all this scientific knowledge that we have, we still do not know one atom in its entirety. We know how to use them, we know how to break them, we know how to fuse them, we know how to make them explode, but we don't know what the hell it is, even today. Yes or no? So if you pay enough attention, you clearly realize you don't know a thing. Well, he asked that question. This is all I did. When I was just 4.5 years of age, I suddenly realized I don't know a thing. So if somebody gave me a glass of water, I'm just looking at the water because I do not know what is water. Well, I know how to use the water, but I don't know what it is. Even today you don't know what it is. If I find a leaf, I'm staring at it for 4 or 5 hours. If I sit up in my bed, I'm just staring at the darkness for the entire night. My dear father, being a physician, he started thinking I need psychiatric evaluation. So this boy is simply staring at something all the time. My problem is I look at this, I still don't know this, so I'm not able to shift my attention to anything else. If I look at this, I'm just looking at this because I've still not figured this out. So, if you pay enough attention, this universe opens its doors only to those who pay enough attention. Whichever door has been opened for you in your life has opened because you paid attention to that dimension of life. Yes or no? That's the only way it works. Now, if your attention is such, it is not seeking anything, but it's simply attentive. It pays attention to everything. It does not decide an elephant is more important than an ant. It just pays attention to everything because this is the nature of creation. If you look at an ant, have you paid enough attention to an ant ever? I spent a lot of time with them. Believe me, it's one of the finest machines on the planet. Yes or no? If you had a car like this, you could do all the California deserts effortlessly. It's such a fine machine, it's not a simple thing. If you pay enough attention to the ant, you will realize whatever created this ant, it did not pay any less attention to the ant than it paid to you. Yes or no? Then who the hell are you to decide who should get more attention and less attention? It is just that you have to sharpen your ability to pay attention, not to any particular thing, to simply pay attention. If you pay enough attention, is it true this body, though you gave food from outside, this body was created from inside? Yes? So whatever is the source of creation must be functioning from within you, isn't it? Is it? So, when you don't know what is the nature of the source of creation, you may use in English language. In India we have many words. In this part of the world you may call it God. It's just your explanation for the source of creation, isn't it? Because you have no explanation for the creation, you saying, God made this. We have 1,000 names for that, all right? But fundamentally, we are trying to explain the source of creation. Is it true in your experience, the source of this life's creation is functioning from within you? If it's functioning from within you, if it's somewhere up there and you missed it, it's okay. If it's happening from within you and you missed it, isn't it a tragedy? Hello? Yeah. If the source of creation is throbbing within you and you did not notice it, are you not a tragedy? So my entire life and work is to just avoid the tragedy for people. Thank you. Thank you.
I was not privileged to know Ryan personally, but in the last year that I've gotten to know Anita, she's shared so much about him and his spirit. And we've shared her experience of Ryan's passing and closer to the end of his time here. And it was very similar for me with my father, and we've shared a lot of those experiences. And for me, it was bittersweet, and there was so much sweetness in those last days. And I'm wondering if you can talk a little bit about that transition for us and how we can, I don't want to say do it better, but how we can experience it with a new perspective, because it's something that really shifted how I see it and experience it.
Your own or somebody else's?
Not my own, but I mean probably both, but really being here after someone passes and going through that with them.
I want you to listen to this carefully because this could be easily misunderstood. Because when someone loses someone who is dear to them, it's like a piece of their life has been taken away and it goes through various processes of grief, loss, cherishing many things that they were, variety of things. Not all of it can be articulated. But at the same time, we are not the first people to be born on this planet, nor are we going to be the first to die on this planet. In our lives, whether we are going to get educated or not, we don't know when we are born. Whether we are going to get married or not, we do not know. Whether we are going to bear children or not, we do not know. Whether we are going to do this, that and so many things in the world or not, we do not know. But we know one thing, that we are going to die. Yes or no? That's one certainty, isn't it? Though it is such an obvious thing, we are not able to come to terms with it. Somebody was asking me, Sadhguru, how do snakes die? Where do they die? Because we don't see ever a dead snake unless it's killed by somebody. They're asking this question in a tropical country, and I think it's relevant in California also, where there are actually millions of snakes, but they're quiet lives, they don't show themselves too often unless you step into their terrain somewhere. They don't show themselves, they're just there. So where do they die? This is something very wonderful, particularly cobras. When they want to die, when they know they should die, they will withdraw, find one perch somewhere and go sit there, and they won't eat. For over 18 to 20 days, they will not eat anything and sit in the same place, and they'll die there. At one time, out of misplaced compassion, I have brought down these cobras because I knew where they would be sitting. I would pick them up, bring them and try to force feed them, try to put some food into them and do something about it. But do what you want, they won't accept a little bit of food. If you leave them, again they go and sit in the same place and they will die there quietly. I'm saying a crawling creature has that much awareness, knows how long this body should be on and when it should go. Similarly, your life and every other life has this consciousness as to when it should exit this body, either because we broke the body in some way or because simply the necessary intensity in the body doesn't exist anymore to sustain life. So we must understand, when I use certain words, do not understand it in normal sense. When I say a life decides when to leave, It's not like you think about it and you decide, not that kind of decision. In its own way, not with thought. Many decisions about who you are is not decided by your thought, it's simply made, isn't it? Like that, a life decides when to leave. As long as it's here, we will do everything to preserve it and to hold it and keep it with us because we cherish and value that life. But once it leaves, we must respect that because that life has chosen to leave. Now when I say life, I'm not talking about the person, I'm not talking about the personality, I'm not talking about variety of thoughts and emotions and activities that person was involved in. You as a person never want to leave because you want to be an endless psychological drama. But life wants to leave at a certain time. Whether you like it, you don't like it, life wants to leave because it doesn't want to be trapped in the physical form that you have gathered forever. It doesn't want. It enjoys the physical form only to a certain length of time. After that, even if everything is well, many lives leave. You will see this particularly in India. Yogis will decide when to leave. When they're very healthy and well, they sit down and they leave. Other people think, why he was healthy, why should he leave? So you want to get sick and die? Do you want to suffer in the hospital for 3 years and then only leave? Is that the only way to go? Please listen to this carefully because this is a situation. I'm not trying to trample on anything, but I want you to listen to this carefully. Is it true that the final thing that you do in your life is death? Hello? Yes. So the last thing that you do in your life, is it not very important that you do it gracefully?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
You're all from Los Angeles, you must do it in style, isn't it? At least gracefully. Is it also not important that other lives who are around us, when their time comes, we must facilitate that they must be able to leave gracefully, not make them a victim of medical industry that's going on around us? Hello?
Yes.
Tell me, what purpose does it serve if you stretch a life which is about to exit now for another 3 months with all kinds of supports, 3 months you stretched it in pain and misery, what does it mean? It just means that you're ignorant about the nature of life and you want to cling to something that you know and you don't want to know anything that you do not know. It's very important. We know the person, we know this person and this person and this person, that's fine. We've enjoyed their personalities, but you have not touched the nature of their life. Because unless you touch the nature of your life, you cannot touch the nature of another life. So the most important thing we need to do is, we don't have to talk about death, prepare for death, nothing is needed. What we need to do is, beyond this body, which we have gathered, which you agreed with me that you accumulated this, beyond this mind, which is also an accumulation of impressions and information, beyond your accumulations, if you sit here right now and experience the life that you are, you will have absolutely no issue with any aspect of life, which includes death. Death is not another thing. Death is an ongoing thing. Right now, all of us are dying slowly. One day it'll be complete. You think it's going to suddenly happen one day? It is already on, isn't it? Hello? Is it not on? It is on in every one of us. Should we not conduct this process? See, you can call this right now, I can say I'm living. Another way of saying it is, I'm dying. I'm dying right now. We want to stretch it as much as we can, but to know this experientially, not trying to figure this intellectually is most important, because intellectually if you figure, you will always be one against the other because this is the nature of intellect, that intellect cannot perceive anything without creating two. So you have created life and death. There's no such thing as life and death. Life and death is one package, isn't it? Hello?
Yes.
It's one package. As we are living, as we are also dying right now. The question is how gracefully you do it. If you learn to do this moment absolutely gracefully, you will also conduct that moment absolutely gracefully. That is not a different kind of moment, that's the same moment. In the yogic science, it goes like this. Every inhalation you are born, every exhalation you die. When you were born as a little infant, the first thing that you did was inhalation, isn't it? What do you think is the last thing you will do? Exhalation, isn't it? Right now when you sit here, inhalation, exhalation, inhalation, exhalation, inhalation, exhalation, next inhalation did not happen, and suddenly a big man is gone, poof. Yes or no? That's how fragile it is. I want you to see this. Every moment it's happening. If this exhalation which went out, if it doesn't come back, this one is gone. How many things a man can do? But at the same time, just see how fragile this is. You're yo-yoing with your life every moment. If you don't know how to pull it back, it will go away. But it doesn't feel like that right now. I'm real. I'm not going to die today. A whole lot of people thought so before you and me. We must understand mortality is the fundamental reality of our existence. If you do not come to terms with this one thing, believe me, you don't know any other aspect of life in reality. You know only the drama. Because this is the most fundamental nature of our existence, that we are mortal. When we are born, it is declared that we are going to die, isn't it? How long is the only question. I bless you with a very long life. Thank you very much for being here.